Words in the story: to appear, to come into sight, to arrive. The party began at 7, but Mr. and Mrs. Brown didn't appear until 9. To avoid, to keep away from. We took another road to avoid the heavy traffic. To frighten, to make someone feel afraid. Don't shout, you'll frighten the baby. Mystery, a strange thing which happens and which you cannot explain. I don't know how I lost the book. It's a mystery. Rough, not polite. He spoke to her in a very rough way. Wicked, very bad. The witch in the story was a wicked woman. One day, an old seaman came to the inn. I remember him as if it were yesterday. He came to the inn door with his sea chest following behind, a tall, strong, heavy, nut-brown man with a scar across one cheek and with black broken nails. When my father appeared, the man called roughly for a glass of rum. When it was brought, he drank it slowly, looking around. "Well then," he said, "I'll stay here a bit. I'm a plain man. Rum and bacon and eggs is what I want. You may call me Captain." And he threw down 3 or 4 gold coins. He was a very silent man as a rule. All day Captain walked around the cove or upon the cliffs with a telescope. All evening he sat in a corner of the sitting room near the fire and drank very strong rum. Every day when the captain came back from his walk, he used to ask if any seaman had gone along the road. At first we thought that he wanted company of his own kind, but then we began to realize that he wanted to avoid it. For me there was no mystery about it, because one day he had taken me aside and promised me a silver coin on the 1st of every month, if I would only keep my eyes open for a seaman with one leg and let him know the moment he appeared. Of course, I was very frightened by the thought of the seaman with one leg. I even dreamed about him every night. But I was less afraid of the captain than others were who knew him. There were nights when he drank more rum than he should have, and then he sat and sang his wicked old wild shanties and made everyone join in the chorus or listen to his stories. It was his stories that frightened people most of all. Dreadful stories they were. He must have lived among some of the wickedest men upon the sea, and the language in which he told them shocked our people almost as much as the crimes that he described. Captain never wrote and never received any letters. He never spoke to anyone but the neighbors, and then, for the most part, only when he was drunk. None of us had ever seen the great sea chest open. He was angry only once. That was when Dr. Livesey came one late afternoon to see my poor father, who was very ill. Doctor had a bit of dinner which my mother had made, and then went into the sitting room to smoke his pipe. I followed him in, and I remember the contrast between the neat doctor and that dirty, heavy, red-eyed pirate of ours. Dr. Livesey was a bright man with pleasant manners, a wig as white as snow, and bright black eyes. Suddenly, the captain began to sing. Nobody in the room took much notice of the song. The doctor looked up for a moment and then went on talking to old Taylor, the gardener. Some time after that, the captain slapped his hand on the table in a way which we all knew to mean silence. The voices stopped at once, all but Dr. Livesey's. He went on as before. The captain glared at him for a while, slapped his hand on the table again, glared still harder, and then shouted, "Silence there, between decks!" "Are you addressing me, sir?" asked the doctor. "Yes," said the captain. "I have only one thing to say to you, sir," replied the doctor, "and that is, that if you keep on drinking rum, then the world will soon be free of a very dirty fellow." The old seaman's anger was awful. He jumped to his feet, opened his sailor's knife, and we all saw that he was going to pin the doctor to the wall. Dr. Livesey didn't move. He spoke to the captain as before, over his shoulder and in the same tone of voice, perfectly calm and steady. "If you don't put that knife away, I promise upon my honor that you shall die under the law." Then followed a battle of looks between them, but the captain soon put his knife away and took his seat like a beaten dog. "And now, sir," continued the doctor, "since I know that there's such a fellow in my district, I'll keep an eye on you day and night, and on that you may count. I'm not only a doctor, I'm also a magistrate, and if I catch even a word of complaint against you, you can be sure that I'll take measures to turn you out from here." And with these words, Dr. Livesey took his horse and rode away.